Hey, how's everybody doing? Let's get right to the point. I just finished watching. Well, sorry, last night I just finished watching the new reboot sequel, whatever you want to call it. It is a sequel, I guess, a reboot sequel of the original 1974 text Chainsaw Massacre. Um, I have kind of have mixed feelings about it. I've only watched it once, so my opinion of it might change. But as far as what it was or what it is, it's great at. What it's supposed to be, it sucks at. And what I mean by that, I'll say like the good things are that it's a horror film. It hits the marks as a horror film. It's got good scares. It's got some amazing kills. Little bit CG heavy on some of the blood scenes, but generally it's a pretty good movie. I'm gonna try and keep this video as spoiler free as possible for people that haven't seen it yet, because it did just come out less than 24 hours ago, or I guess about 24 hours ago. I think, what's his name? David Blue Garcia. I have a few notes here. I don't really know him from much other. I looked him up on IMDb, and not really a lot that I'm familiar. I'm not really familiar with a lot of the other stuff, but I think as a horror movie and directing this film, I think he did an excellent job. I think it's scary when it's supposed to be scary. The kills are great. So the direction was fine. It was I think that Mark Burnham, who played this Leatherface, he did a good job for the movie that it was. I don't think what the movie was supposed to be. I don't think he excelled, but in terms of the makeup, the mannerisms, and everything, he played the character well in terms of just being a horror film. It was but yeah, it was all in all, it was an okay watch. But there was a lot of shit went with this movie that I didn't like. First of all, the Leatherface in this movie is not the Gunnar Hansen Leatherface that he's supposed to be, and that's when I go to what it was supposed to be. It sucked, and what it was supposed to be is the same character this many years later, and yeah, it the Gunnar Hansen in the original film, or sorry, the Leatherface played by Gunnar Hansen in the original film, he was, I'm going to say retarded, for lack of a better term. I know that's somehow that's an offensive term these days for reasons, but I don't mean it to be offensive. I'm just using it because I can't think of another word to describe how he was supposed to be. But anyway, in this movie he's methodical. He's thinking things out. He's planning things. He's just way too intelligent for that version of Leatherface. So it doesn't make any sense. I also can't believe that the Leatherface that obviously had poor dietary habits back in 1974. Probably, let's just say his age is about 22, 23 years old. Um, Living a life like that he would still be alive and active and healthy in his 70s, or around 70 years of age now. I really didn't find that believable. But it's fictitious. It's just a movie, so I'm not going to take that too seriously. A couple other things about the movie. I think the Sally Hardesty character was shoehorned kind of in there. I don't believe that for a second, after all the PTSD that Sally would have gone through after the events of the original film, that she would be pulling this whole Laurie Strode rip-off character thing that the character was. I think it was pointless. It didn't make any sense. I think that, if anything, she probably would have ended up somewhere in an asylum, or really not mentally stable. I don't see her becoming like whatever it was, working with the police and becoming this vigilante looking for him. Like it was total ripoff of Halloween 2018, and she was in the film all of 10 minutes. Like it was really shoehorned in and didn't make any sense. I think they just added that character to throw in the trailer and sell the movie. But yeah, the Leatherface. Going back to the Leatherface, though, he came off more as like the Andrew Bernarski version of Leatherface from the remake in 2003. He was just too menacing, too aggressive, and too angry, and his character was nothing at all like the original. He was kind of like a cross between him and also the Leatherface in Part 3, which was played by, I'm going to look at here because I cannot pronounce his name. R.A. Mihail. I don't know how to say his name, and I'm not going to try and butcher it, so I'm just going to just that's his name. But for the Leatherfaces they played, they were good at it. It fit the character, but this being the exact Leatherface from the original, not the same person. Um, what else? It was just a few other things. It wasn't. Was it overall a bad movie? No, it was actually enjoyable. It will find its way into my collection one day. Was it a good movie? No, I wouldn't say. I would. Well, it was an okay movie. I'm not gonna say it was a. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. Um, but like I said, some of the things just didn't add up. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Um, without giving too much away, there is a bus scene in it that I think is really amazingly done. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Darth Vader scene at the end of end of Rogue One to a point, but it was well done. Again, the original Leatherfaces would not have likely acted that way, but in terms of just a good sit down, have some popcorn, and watch a new horror movie, it's good. And it didn't. It's a short run like the original film, just over 100. I think it was like an hour and 23 minutes or something like that, which is roughly the same length as the original film here. So it didn't have a lot of filler. It didn't have a lot of just throwing too much information in to make it confusing and distracting. It just got right to the point. The new mask that he gets and how he gets it is actually a really good scene, and the mask actually looks really cool. And I'm glad they didn't try and throw on the original mask that he had from 50 years ago because, or however, almost 50 years ago, because why would he? That would just be pointless and silly. That mask would be rotted away. So I'm glad they went that it was a completely different new mask, completely different new look. And he did look menacing with his gray hair and as an older Leatherface, but I just didn't buy the character as as the original Leatherface. It just sort of didn't match up. It is better than the shit show that is this, which was again trying to reboot through sequels like they did kind of with Halloween. But this is so full of plot holes. Like you should be using it to catch fish. But it's not that bad. Do I recommend watching it? Absolutely. If you just want to watch a good horror film, check it out. Like it's entertaining, it's good, it's just not a good follow-up. If it was a standalone film and the rest of the franchise never existed, I would say it was an excellent film and I would really like it. But aside from that, the story, it's a little bit convoluted, but not terrible. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one Leatherface, and that is Gunnar Hansen. And that's really all I'm going to say about that. It was a short video. I didn't put a lot of research into it. Probably might do another one after I watch the movie and give it a better chance and see how I feel about it. As I said, it will end up in my collection anyway. I'm a completist. Is it the worst of the whole series? Like I said, Chainsaw Massacre or Texas Chainsaw 3D is probably the worst thing I've ever seen. Leatherface, whatever year they came out in, I think 2017, that's worse than this movie in my opinion. I mean, that went into a different direction and tried new things, so which I can respect it for that, but I don't think it's a great film. I would rank this new one probably out of the 9 films that are now out, I'd probably put it around maybe 5th or 6th. I don't know. I have to kind of go revisit everything and just kind of think about it a little bit. Anyway, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. And check it out if you haven't seen it. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.